Rewiring your financial mindset is more about stripping away what you know does not work. This is a process by which you and I look at how do I show up in the subject of money? What things am I doing that I know don't work? Or what are the pros, the moguls, the magnates? What practices do they engage in daily? Now grab a pen, because here's some things that I've learned over the years on a net worth, on a pathway to $100 million. And there's some common themes. And what I want to share with you this morning is the two most powerful words within our dictionary in the English language. And they are the words, I am. Now, when the chips are down, and there's been plenty of times over the years when I think back, I am is one of those difficult things to do in the moment, but really pushes you to a place of where you are in control. See, too many of us are subjected to challenge, but we seem to think that circumstance steers us, that we are at the whim of what happens to us and not our mental game. Now, when we say the words, I am, it puts you and I firmly back in control. Now, I remember one distinctive time where, and this is nearly 20 years ago now, I signed on for the purchase of a shopping centre, a small RTO, retail trade outlet. And it's one of those sort of centres where you've got a major anchor, a Coles or a Woolies, and 15, 18 specialties, right? Now, back then, that was $16.8 million. That was a lot of money nearly 20 years ago. And I had a deposit circa about 3 to 4 million. Now, what had happened is that I put together the deal, I'd negotiated it well, and it came time to put the finance together, and I was borrowing money through a mainstream banker. They rejected the finance application because of the circumstances around, like the environment, the sentiment. It wasn't the numbers and the math didn't work. The deposit was sufficient, and the return coming back as a landlord would more than cover the debt position. However, they declined the loan. It happens to all of us. Now, I had to essentially find about $12 odd million in the space of 15 days. And I remember coming back to this office, my home office, right, and just literally on the verge of a meltdown. And I remember someone saying to me years ago, the two most powerful words in the English dictionary, I am. And I sat in this very chair for 27 hours straight. My wife at the time thought I was absolutely fucking crazy. But what was at stake was a deposit of $2.9 million. Now, had I not completed the transaction, the $2.9 million was vaporized. It went to the seller, the vendor. And I remember sitting here one afternoon, 4 o'clock in the day, just I am. I'm in control. I am in charge. I am creative. I am. I am capable. I am financial. I am wealthy. I am affluent. I am wise. I am sophisticated. I am. And I went on this rant. And you might say, Mark, that's just some kind of like pep talk, pump up bullshit. When your unconscious mind starts to grasp that you are in control of the circumstance, not the forces around you, that's a very powerful moment for every one of us. And I remember stomping around here thinking, I'm not going to terminate, I'm not going to incinerate 2.9 million. That's hard cash that I've earned. And I put a lot of effort, a lot of risk behind that. I wasn't going to see it go to the vendor without a fight. So in that process, I had learned some things. And I hope that you're starting to glean a similar position where you are in fact in control. And I encourage you, in fact, I challenge you to stand up to those circumstances and say, I am. And some of the words that I use are quite descriptive. You know, I don't sit down. I actually walk because you and I think on our feet. But I'll always sort of remind myself, I am in control. I am wealthy. I am rich. I am opportunity. I am cash. I am a great father. And I go through all of this long list of things that I am. And what that does, it puts me firmly back in control. It starts to now develop some solutions. It develops a series of possibilities. And in that moment, I think that's where you and I need to come from, is a place of strength. There is no point you and I sort of being, morbid or negative. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve the situation at hand. So when I say to you, taking control, rewire your financial mindset, take control of your mind first. And I get passionate because some of us, are in a position where we are sort of sleeping through the process of money and finances. We're sleeping, we're asleep at the wheel. We're not in control. Interest rates are going up, our earnings are going back, the quality of life is going down, not up in Australia. We're at the whim and prayer of a government that has no idea how to steer our economy. And we feel powerless, we feel weak. It's time to put yourself in a position of strength and say, fuck it, this is how it's going to be. I've learned some things. I'm going to get resilient. I'm going to be tenacious. I'm going to be wise, intelligent, sophisticated about this. I'm going to take control of what I know works best. Because when you and I take firm control of that steering wheel, we can point it in any direction. And when it comes to money, I can assure you, when you have the attitude that everything is possible, I've just got to work out how. It puts so much, I think, reliance back on our mindset. I don't want you to show up weak. I don't want you to be sort of half-arsed about this. And this is not the first time this has ever happened. Even now, nearly 20 years down the path, and assets spread all over the eastern seaboard of Australia, things sometimes get a bit hairy, or I just don't feel like I'm on my game. You've had this. You've woken up a little bit dull, a bit tired, flat, or, you're just getting hammered by certain things or family issues or personal issues. Your partner's giving you the shits. You're like, I'm in control of how I feel. And I'll literally start walking around the bedroom in the morning as I'm getting organised and prepared for work or dropping my daughter at school. I'll be in the car. I am in control. I'm in charge of my thinking. I am resilient. I am wise. I am clever. I am smart. I'm resilient. I'm tenacious. I am. And all of a sudden, this ramp starts to build out an air of confidence. It takes you and I to a place where I'd rather be strong as a warrior than be meek and see the world as difficult and hard. So I encourage you, be deliberate about this. Cement how you feel and rewire that mindset with I am. And that puts you and I back in the control seat and not the circumstances around it. I don't give a shit about how the market works or whether banks are saying yes to lending or no. There's opportunity in an up, down, sideways market. But we just got to have the mindset that's relevant to that season and that opportunity. So I trust that makes sense. Take control of it and challenge yourself. Put it into play and then see the results for yourself. Happy investing. Bye for now.